Hey everybody, John here, Humble Theology. Welcome back for another look at Revelation chapter 5 this time. Trying to use a new mic. It's actually kind of an old one, but we'll see how well it works. Ask you to pause the video here, go read Revelations 5, and then open it back up, and we'll get to discussing it here. I was just feeling in the other videos, me reading the chapter. I don't know that that's adding anything or not. If you'd like me to start doing that again, please let me know, and I'll read that, have it posted and scrolling by before we get into the commentary. But today we're just going to try rolling right into the commentary and trusting you've read Revelation chapter 5 at this point. So 5 starts off, then I saw. Again, when we're looking at this from a covenantal standpoint, not necessarily a dispensational standpoint, John is getting at the order in which he's being shown things. It's not necessarily the order in which they're going to happen. In a view of amillennial or covenantal theology, those positions, the view to Revelations is not that it's a synchronous timeline of events where one thing's happening directly and right after another as John reveals them, but almost as if looking at a toy, a diamond, whatever you have in your hand, a pen. Look at it from various different angles, and that's what John's being presented with. He's being shown basically the end of times, but not necessarily chronologically in order as like a timeline of events, like I said, but from different facets, looking at it from the top, from the side, from all these different angles, 7 angles, again, so a perfect reflection of what the perfect ending of all things is going to look like. So then I saw, again, just the order in which he's looking at it. I think I used the illustration before of like a movie or the Marvel Avenger movies or whatever. You may have not have watched them in order, and you may have watched them, and then I saw this one, and then I saw that one, and it's like, oh, but you understand the order. Well, yeah, I understand the evidential outcome of all those movies, but yeah, I didn't watch them in order. So that's what John's getting at here in general. Chapter 5, so after the letter to the churches and what we had in chapter 4, we are given a scene of worship. So within this scene, a scroll is presented, and at first there's depicted that there's nobody worthy to open it. It's the scroll, it's the depiction, it's clearly something to be revealed of the last time. And yet there's no one to read it. There's allusion here to Daniel 12, verse 4, and Isaiah 29, just books and seals. I mean, these are things of the Old Testament. They're very important. The imagery is very important. And it's as if in Daniel 12, as I mentioned, it's coming to fulfillment. What was in a scroll then for Daniel, and it was supposed to be sealed up and put away, and not told to people what it was going to be, is now being revealed. The Lion of Judah comes forth as the only one who's able to do so, the root of David. Again, a lot of imagery here of who is able to secure the scroll, this judgment, this day of the Lord. The day of the Lord, that's a classic reference to Christ's return, to God's coming back, and then holding everything and everyone accountable. What is he going to find? Jesus told different parables about a rich man going away and either leaving talents to people or seeing what he found of servants, and how servants were treating one another basically upon his return. And this is it. This is that return. And what is he going to find when he comes back? So this scroll is being presented, and he's obviously the only one who's able to open it. In verses 6 through 8, the depiction of Christ, it says, is as a lamb slain. It's like, well, that's kind of a gory picture there. A lamb, but blood gushing out and probably all over it and all over the place. But that's just it. It's a depiction of that he has paid for our sins, paid for the sins of the saints, of those who he saved. But again, it's a very graphic picture, a very violent picture, and it's supposed to do that. It's supposed to evoke this reaction from us, the readers, both then and now, to get the picture and the imagery down. It's, again, kind of like in a cartoon. If you were depicting a battle of good and evil, Is it a bunch of little bunnies hopping around or something like that? Or do you kind of draw them out in such a way that, hey, you give real characterization to what's going on and to who these characters are and what they represent? So the historical references alluded to the idea of the lamb slain takes us all the way back to Egypt. The lamb slain for the blood on the doorposts. And this imagery, again, it's meant to pull people into that type of imagery of the Bible, Old Testament and New, to everything that Christ is and has done, and that he's the only one and owner of what's going to happen in this judgment day, who it is we're expecting to have come back. And that's the gist of that. So in then 9 to 14, so the rest of the passage here, chapter 5, there's great worship. New songs break out. The scroll is secured by Christ, who is able to open its seals. And obviously we'll get into that in the coming chapters because the seals will start to be open. And to this degree of creatures, indicating, we relate to every knee shall bow and every tongue shall confess. As much as the world likes to point to, and again, I think it's false, a dispensational reading of all this, Battle of Armageddon, the world raises its armies against the Lord. But in Revelation, there's not one arrow shot. There's not one bullet fired. It's Jesus comes back, and that's it. Everything stops. And we'll get to that obviously way later in Revelation. But the depiction here, again, a scene of worship in heaven. The saints are around the throne of God, and they're waiting for and expecting that, hey, judgment, where is it? When is he returning? When is he going to put a stop to all of this? And here he comes forth. As the bloodied lamb, the lamb who is able to, this Lion of Judah, who is able to secure the judgment of the world. It's all on him. It all belongs to him. His Father has given everything to the Son, and he will put everything under his foot. So that's, again, the depiction here in Revelation chapter 5. Thank you for your time. Thanks for joining me on this. I hope the mic's working out better this time. You don't have to crank your volume as high as some of the earlier videos. I'm working with the tech, trying to learn as I go. But hey, like, subscribe, share, comment, all that fun stuff helps the channel grow. And, hey, we'll see where it goes from there. We'll build this out together. Thank you for your time. God bless. Bye-bye.